G'day, a cleaning guy. Now, when you've got big marks on the wall like the one you just saw, you need to be able to get some pretty serious spot removal happening. Unfortunately, it's pretty dangerous because you can actually mark the wall and you can see cleaning marks, you can get through the paint, you can do all that. So you do need to be quite careful with it. I'm going to show you a couple of options that I usually use, right? So the first one is just a wet microfiber cloth and Jif, which is really good for heavy duty stuff or for light duty stuff, and it all depends on how hard you push. The second one, something everyone's familiar with, is these white blocks. You usually get them a bit smaller in the supermarket, but I'll show you how to use that as well, and we'll see how much of that mark comes off. So when you're using these white foam blocks, it's really important that you actually wet it first. If you use it dry, you're just going to take paint off, right? There's no use wasting a big block just for these ones. You just tear them off in the water. It's ready to go. This is a typical furniture mark that you'll get on a wall. Nice scrub there. In this case, it was a bed, but you'll get the same thing from a couch. So we're going to see what we can do about this. We'll start with the white foam block. Right, remember it's wet. And we're just going to do a little section. Now the trick with these, just go one way, don't go every way. And if it starts to come off, then it's probably going to keep coming off. So this is coming off. Right, now the very important thing to do is it actually has some sort of cleaning liquid in it. If you let that dry, it goes white. So you want to actually wash it off as you go. So we can go a little bit harder here, not much, a little bit. Finish up and down. Wipe it off. And let it dry. So for this next part, I've done something there. We're going to try it just here. I'm going to try the Jif. I've always used this, it's just a standard. And all you're doing is just putting just a little bit on the cloth. You can spread it over, it really doesn't matter. But you're not pushing hard, really important, right? You only go light to start with, okay? And you're just checking to see if the mark will come off, because sometimes it doesn't come off. And if it doesn't come off, you're just gonna push hard, you're gonna keep going and going, you'll take the paint away, right? Guess what, you'll be up for a painting job. But I can already see that this is coming off quite well. In fact, I'd probably say this is working better than the white cloth. So we've got a bit of a dint here, right? That's not really coming out. I'm just going to do some smaller ones, little circles, right? But I aren't pushing very hard, right? If I go hard, I am just going to take that paint away. So sometimes something's just going to stay there. So same with everything. You've got to wash it off, right? And once it dries, we'll have a look. I'll show you the difference. So as you can see, this is the section here that I did with this white foam block, right? And it's actually worked out pretty well. If you pan across here, you can see this is the section here that I did with the Jif, okay? Now, this is a dint and it won't come out. And it's no use me continuing to clean that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attack half of this line with the white block, and I'll take the other half of the Jif and we'll get a real good comparison. If you have a look at this now, you can actually see the clean marks where I've been. This is why it's really important for you to actually wash everything off as you go. So I've gone up and down here, right? And you can see where it hasn't been cleaned, all this area around down here and up here. Usually I'll do this while I'm washing the walls. I'll do the spot cleaning at the same time. So I'm continuing with that washing flow and just making sure everything's coming off. And it gives it a nice even finish, right? So that's the most important thing. There is a faint line here going across. They both work the same, but the faint line exists for it all. So now that's because it's actually been pushed in a bit hard against the wall. If you try and get that out, you're just going to take the paint off in the whole line, right? You'll have to repaint it. This particular line is actually a little bit harder to see, but it should pass. And so the worst case scenario is that if it is scratched, which is a possibility, then it may need to be painted, but we're trying to not do that. So this is the end result for this one. I might have another couple that I can show you, but this is an example. So just be aware that sometimes you cannot get the whole thing off. All right, if you try, you could make your situation a lot worse. Okay, so we've just tried to get these off, right? But you notice it didn't actually come off. As I was doing it, it wasn't actually getting any lighter. So I had to stop, right? Because that meant that it's not going to come out. Anything else I do now is just going to damage it, right? So it is a dent, and we have to live with that one. So we've seen both, how they work, right? They both work equally well. The Jif with a wet microfiber cloth, a wet white cloth, they're both good. Just make sure you wash them off after you've used them. That's really important, as I showed in the last bit. So you've got your solution, give them both a try, and see how you go with getting marks off walls.
Well, there's a few handy tips. Wish you all the best for your wall cleaning, but if your friends can benefit from this video, please share it with them, and if you have a question, whack it in the comments below and we'll get to it ASAP. Now, before you shoot off to clean your walls, I'd love you to join me on this journey. Please just tap that face with the green circle around it to subscribe and we'll get some videos to you, or you can just tap one of these and go straight there. Otherwise, have a great day. Thanks very much for watching.